So, welcome, Perennial Pride listeners, to the podcast today. Really excited to be with you. I'm here by myself today. So, been an interesting week, and at the time of this recording, there's still tremendous amounts of uncertainty, potential recession coming, or maybe here already, and we're starting to see some cracks in the banking environment, and some corporations starting to lay off people. So who knows what's going to happen here? And unfortunately, I think we're going to see a bit more of it, but who knows? But the reality is that when we're thinking about people who are working in a corporate job, and certainly I was there too, that for many folks it's a good existence, right? It's a steady paycheck. It is a gives you some levels of quote unquote certainty in life, and but we all know things can change quite a bit. Now, for folks who are in those jobs today, and hopefully you do enjoy it, and there's plenty of people who do. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who do not, but a lot of people who enjoy it and want to stay, and hopefully they don't get laid off and they get to kind of live that life. But for some, it's a scary proposition. They may get laid off. They got to now find a new job, explore a different path in their lives, and they may not feel that they can get out of it, right? They have to go find another job in the company, and so it becomes a very stressful situation. And you'd almost feel like you have these golden handcuffs tied to a particular corporation or industry. You're so used to working in it, and it keeps you there. Now, when we think about golden handcuffs, we probably more equatable to senior executives, and so these parachutes that they get, these multi-million dollar sort of payouts, et cetera. But for those who are successful W-2 earners in whatever corporate job or where you're at, that paycheck coming in can kind of feel like that too. It's a golden handcuff that keeps you there. It's something you've gotten used to, and it helps you to support your lifestyle, whatever that's become. And some people don't feel they can get away from it, and to pay and to have the healthcare benefits and all those things that are kind of tied to the job becomes difficult to leave, and you kind of feel stuck. And I know there are people who kind of feel this way, and I certainly felt that way for some time, and it's understandable. And so this episode, I want to just talk through to those who are maybe thinking, maybe I want to change and explore a different route, but it just seems too daunting, and there's so much tied to my current existing company or lifestyle or situation that it's probably not even worth considering. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is definitely worth considering. Will it happen overnight? Probably not, but you got to start somewhere, and it all starts with you kind of stepping back and reflecting and taking sort of an inventory of things in your life in terms of what's important. And that's not something we often do. I think we can get into the grind of things, and days and weeks fly by, and you almost kind of wonder where it all went. And this does require some thinking and deeper thought, and sort of getting you and maybe your spouse and family on board with it. And so it will not be easy. And I think it takes some courage and certainly personal responsibility to do so. But, for those who are looking for more, something different, or maybe their jobs have gotten stale, it's potentially time to at least start exploring. And that's what I would start with. Those who are maybe, at risk at maybe getting let go, or they're, just want to change and want something more meaning to life, more meaning to their jobs or businesses. It's about really going back to being a kid, like being able to dream a bit more. As you're a kid, these kids have, creative juices flowing. They think of crazy things. They say crazy things. And as you get older, you don't maybe express those things, or you maybe put them to the side, any dreams or passions you have, because it's not what you're supposed to do as an adult. Well, this is a good time to start doing that, and thinking about our lives, which have some finality to it. It's just inevitable, unfortunately, that our clock is ticking every day. And so the question is, what do you dream to do? And you may not know that until you start exploring. And so this is what I would encourage anyone to do is, when you think about the things that just give you tremendous energy and light up your brain cells and your bloodstream starts pumping and you get some adrenaline going, whatever it is that gets you excited. What is that? And start poking around there and seeing what could be possible, right? In terms of what you do and how you spend your days in the future, whether it's starting a business or, a new industry, whatever the case may be, and taking some time to research it, right? Meet some people in that world, whatever the area that is, and seeing if it is a potential passion, because you may not know what that is, but I think what you'll find out is every time you dive into something, it's going to give you a yes or no, right? Whether this is something I should go further with. And if it's a yes, and you keep on digging and do more. And that's what I did personally in my life in terms of building my financial business. I wasn't sure to begin with. I was just sort of exploring it, talking to a lot of folks who are in the industry and trying to kind of ascertain, like, is this a good fit for me? Is this something I would want to do and gives me motivation to kind of push it every single day? And it took some time because there were points in time when I wasn't sure. And I kept on digging further and talking to more people. And as experiences were building, I kind of recognized this is a good fit for me. And it gives me energy to go learn more and serve more. And that'll evolve too, just like anything else. And so being open to it is key. So I would highly encourage you to spend that time with yourself and maybe even share it with your spouse or close friends just to kind of get their viewpoint of it too. But it does take some onus on you to kind of look into it. And certainly there's people that can help with that too, along the way, coaches out there that could help in that endeavor to help you think through it, right? Because it's not always easy, but taking the first step is all you can really do, and then see how it goes. So that would be the first step, right? And over time, you'll start realizing maybe opportunities, and then don't leave your job maybe yet if that's certainly kind of supplying your lifestyle, but ease into it, and it doesn't require you burning all the boats. Now, the second piece of this too is a lot of folks who are successful, right, working at their corporate jobs or even in their businesses. Things are a little, certainly chaotic, as Parkinson's law tells us. Sometimes, as our incomes grow, then our expenses grow with it, and that can be a problem because we need that steady income to live that lifestyle, and so this is a good time to sort of reflect on that too for yourself. Is to check in, are all the things that you are spending your money on these days broadly, are they serving you and your family and what you're trying to achieve in a positive way? And that sometimes takes some effort because we can, again, get used to something and we say, well, what am I actually paying this for? And so all these dollars are flowing out of our lives and we may be unconsciously spending. We don't even know it. And so this is a good time to kind of maybe take a look at your overall sort of financial life and see the dollars coming in versus out and how much I'm actually saving, and getting a handle on that to see if it's are your resources that you're working your tail off to generate, are they serving you? And could you be saving more, investing more to help secure your financial future, as well as give you some investment dollars or cushion to transition. So that's a really good spot. There's a interesting tool out there now called Currence that really helps people sort of look at their lifestyle and expenses and push them to save more. And then obviously you figure out where you deploy it, but it helps you sort of identify the cash flow in your life and how do we expedite that and speed it up and increase it so you can save and invest and do some other things with and really increase your financial sort of strength. So when, kind of tied to that too, in terms of saving more and intentionally, identifying expenses that are important to you, is getting some other what I call them cash flow engines in place, things that are going to bring you income. Now, not all things are passive. We'll probably do another episode, kind of what's really passive income. Some passive income is really not passive. But how can you take some of the dollars you're saving and investing and create some cash flow engines for you that are going to bring you income, right? In a whole host of ways. You've always heard these things like, the wealthier folks, the billionaires, they have, a significant number of streams of income coming in. It could be 7, 10 different streams of income coming in that, this is what happens. Some of them might get disrupted from time to time. Issues happen. So, having multiple ones can give you some balance and some ability to pivot without too much distress because you have a lot of them growing. But you got to build them, right? Some of them are assets. Some of them require significant investments in large chunks. But what we're often taught in the typical financial world is to put it away, right? Put it out of sight because, we're not disciplined enough to use it, give it to someone else. And, whether it's managed through qualified plans like a 401k, IRA, and put it on the side to use when I'm older, right? Because, and so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And there's certainly some benefits to that, but I can't use that today to generate income. And so they sit kind of outside of our world, or they're stuffed inside the equity of our home, right? Because Dave Ramsey says, pay your house off fast as possible because debt is awful. And so all of these sorts of pieces of advice actually remove money from out of our control, right? To build those income streams today. And I would argue in some scenarios, it's intentional, right? But this is a way that many folks are building wealth, and more time and money freedom is by bringing in more income in other sources today, not having to wait till you're in retirement, which, it doesn't serve you today. And so taking a look at that, whether it's through, whether it is, if you're comfortable in the stock market, dividend income, and, thinking about rental properties or private lending or, investing in other people's business. I mean, these are all things you can grow and learn about, right? To see where you can bring in other streams of income, but it's something to get started. You're not going to solve that overnight, but the more you start building and trying, exploring, and actually taking steps forward, you'll be amazed at what would happen over a number of years, 5, 10 years. You'll look back and like, oh my God, where'd all these income streams come from? And that's what happened to me. But it starts somewhere. And that's what I would encourage you to do, is to go down that path to explore, if creating other passive streams of income to balance off what you're already doing in your jobs or business. That you got to start somewhere. And unfortunately, there are many people that will never start this. And in my mind, it creates a massive opportunity cost for people because they never, ever even go down this path and are willing to take the courage to move forward and try some of these things and see how they fit. So that's another area of kind of just a different way of thinking around it than what is typically taught to the masses. Get your dollars to create more income now, not later. Well, we can definitely do that later too, but do it now so you can have more options and choices to do what you want to do on a daily basis. Because if you had more income streams coming along, you have some cushion to maybe experiment a little bit in other areas, or take some time off from a job, or eventually transition away because you have other things coming in that are going to serve and help you feed your family and fund life. And then you can actually spend your time on things that you care more about and build something potentially, and it gives you a little bit more freedom of that. And the last thing I would suggest is spending some time looking at your broader financial foundation. And as people migrate into potentially uncharted waters of maybe starting a business or investing in things they haven't grown accustomed to, or going into a new industry, right, to work, is that a lot of people's financial foundations have some cracks in them, and either that's causing them to lose money that they are not aware of, or putting themselves at significant risk, and that could cause some very serious financial damage down the road, whether through disability or death or a lawsuit, whatever the situation. And so this is a really good time to really maybe do like a full-blown inspection of your financial foundation to ensure that the things that you care most about to secure are secured and you have things in place, right? And even some things, basically an estate plan, like those sorts of things. So just getting that a good time to look at that foundation to make sure there's nothing that is lurking there that's going to cause a problem down the road as you kind of embark on kind of the future you. And so this is a good time to start planning for, what's that mantra? Plan for the worst and hope for the best. Unfortunately, things do happen in life, and the people who are prepared for it can withstand it and hopefully become better at because of it as they build and learn more about things. But if you haven't prepared for it, then it could lead to some catastrophic sort of outcomes for people financially that will make it very difficult to rebound and course correct. And so that's what we try to do, is eliminate those options, things from happening, so that you're positioned to win. And if you have hiccups, which we all do, right? Life isn't always throwing us the best of luck, and we just have to. I think that we have to live with that, right? There's only probabilities. There's little to no certainties of anything, and even some of the things we invest in, they have guarantees to them. Well, I guess there's still possibility those companies could fall apart. Who knows? So there's absolutely nothing that's 100% certain, other than I know is that we will eventually graduate from this earth and leave it. That's the one thing for certain. And two is that change is always upon us, and we just have to be prepared for that and be okay with it, and recognize that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but use it to improve where we are from today. And that's all we can do. So hopefully this was helpful to help you, inspire you to think through. And if you're thinking about making a big change that in your life to find things that are more fulfilling and maybe help you reach your full potential in your life and just give you more satisfaction, it takes some courage and movement to do that. But as you make baby steps forward with it, you're going to start crawling, and before you know it, you're sprinting to that finish line with smiles and joy in your eyes and your heart. And it can happen. I know it. But starting somewhere. So get those golden handcuffs off and take the next step. So we'll see you on the next podcast. Thanks for joining me on this episode today. I really am grateful for you as listeners to the Perennial Pride podcast. I hope you're getting some tremendous value out of it and hopefully pushing you along your journey to financial freedom. I put this podcast together really to help you get more educated around your finances so that you feel empowered to live the life that you really want. And if you like the content that you heard today or watched, then I would encourage you to go to my website, perennialpride.com. There's tons of other content there. And you can access my book, Wealth Beyond the Numbers. You can buy it there on my website. It's a aggregation of a lot of great tips and tools I've learned to not only build my wealth in my accounts, but build wealth in my life and abundance and joy, and something that has a lot of my experiences in the journey that I've been on personally. Hopefully that can be also of value to you as you sort of move forward. So thanks again for being a Perennial Pride listener, and we'll see you on the next episode.